Hello everyone, welcome to another lecture of computer programming where we are learning computer programming through C language. So we are in our lecture number 13. In this lecture, let us learn about formatted input and output. So in our last video, we learned about how a arithmetic expression can be evaluated, and we learned about what actual and operator precedence is and what is associativity. And before going to learn about this input and output function, you people need to learn about data types that we have already covered in our previous video. So before learning this video, I request you all to go through that video once. So for your revision, I'll just revise once. We have data types like primary data types, where we are using primary data types like int, float, char, double data types. And using these data types, we will be mentioning what type of data we are going to store in a variable. Right? So with this basic information, let us start our today's lecture, that is about formatted input and output functions. Now, what is the use of this formatted and input-output functions is, as the name itself, it is reflecting input and output. That means whenever you want to accept any value, or whenever you want to display any value, or you want to produce any output, or whenever you want to accept any input, then to do those two tasks like accepting the value and producing the output, you can use these input-output functions. And to achieve that, we can use this scanf and printf functions, and these two functions are called as input-output formatted functions. Okay, now these functions, whatever scanf and printf functions we have, these two functions are predefined functions, and these two are defined in as our header file stdio.h, standard input and output. So we are including #include stdio.h header file in our program. Now stdio stands for standard input and output, and stdio.h file includes the code for this scanf and printf. Now these two functions request or accepts as parameters two things. The first thing is format specification string, and the second one is list of variables. So we'll see in detail what are these two things. So whenever you are specifying format specification string, then you need to put this one in the double quotes, and after that you need to put the list of variables. And between these two, like format specification string and list of variables, you need to separate these two by using a comma operator, right? So in the scanf or in the printf, within the parentheses, you need to have these two, like a formatted specific string or list of variables. Formatted specification string should be kept in a double quotes. Right? So always the format specification string is a character string. This will be mentioning what type of data you are taking into that variable, or you are producing out from that variable. Okay, and it also specifies about the size and width of your input and output also, like how many digits you want to produce, what should be the space or what should be the width of that input and output you want to produce. That will be mentioned. Like it will mention this format specification string mentions three things. First one is it specifies the data type. We are talking about both input and output. So this mentions the data type, and it mentions the size and width of the input and output, whatever we are accepting or producing. Okay, so with this information, let us learn in detail about the first thing, that is formatted output. Let us learn in detail about this format output. Then we'll go to the formatted input. Now formatted output is nothing but we want to produce something as output, or we want to see something onto the output. To do that task, we can use this printf statement. Okay, this is a common statement, printf statement, where this printf statement can be used for all the data types. It is not specifically only for integer or only for character or only for float. Whatever may be the data type you are going to print onto the output screen, or you want to generate the output, that can be done by using your printf statement. Okay, so the syntax should be like this. We need to write printf, all should be small letters, and within the parentheses, because it is a function and it is defined in stdio.h, we need to use this one as it is. Okay, and it requires two things. The first thing is formatted input string, and the second one is the list of variables, whatever you want to mention. So the format specification string and the list of variables should be separated by the comma, and if you have more than one variable, each variable should be separated by the comma operator. Okay, and finally you need to end with the semicolon. So here the string, whatever you are considering format specification string, this string specifies the always it should be followed by a symbol, and that symbol will be in a format with percentage symbol and a character that is called as a and a symbol we need to have. I will show you the list of symbols. Always it should begin with percentage symbol, percentage, and then we have a one symbol and or one character, and that character is called as a conversion character. I'll tell you what actually that conversion character is. We have list of conversion character, each specific to individual data type. I'll show you that one. If you see here, for int if you are talking, then you can use percentage symbol and D directly can be used. So in place of format specifier, if you are writing percentage D, then you are going to display an integer value. Okay, or else if you are more specific like unsigned integer value you want to display, then you need to write percentage U. So you need to use in that way only. Capital U, capital D will not be accepted, right? If you are talking about unsigned octal value, you can do percentage O, or unsigned hexadecimal value if you are giving. So more specific if you are going, then you can use these three, or in general if you want to mention like a decimal value, then you can directly give percentage D. Okay, so if you are reading a integer value directly, you can give percentage D. And similarly, if you are taking long int or like that, then you can write percentage LD also. Right. Now coming to float, if you are mentioning a float value, then you need to write percentage F, and if you want to represent in the exponential form, the floating value in the exponential form, then you can go with the percentage E. So, and character, percentage S, percentage C is for single character, and percentage S for group of characters like string. While discussing about string, you will be using this one, but for the time being, you can understand what is percentage D, percentage F and percentage C. So these are called as format specification strings, and these strings mention the data type whatever we are storing. So a simple example you can see here, printf percentage C data 1. Okay, now if you are saying like this, that means data 1 is a character value and it will be displayed. Or else if you want, you can add some string also, you can add some text also into your format specifier, where if you want to get an output like character is colon and then the data 1 value whatever you have you want to copy here, then you need to put here. Okay, here there is no quotation. If you want to put the quotation you can put, but this is the starting and this is the end of this one. Right, so this is how format output can be done. One example let us see to do this task. Okay, let us see this one. I have taken an integer value of A and I want to print this value like this. Then wherever you have percentage D here, in that place whatever data value you are giving, that will be copied here. So let us run this one. Okay, and we have successfully compiled and run, and to check the output you can write here. Now here you can add for character, and so you can check here number is 10. Now similarly you can add for character also. So to do that task, we'll see, I'll add that one also. Okay. Now if you check here, I have added a character value, float value. Now let us run this program and let us see the output. If you see, you will get number is 10 and character the earlier output is also combined here. Number is 10, character value is A, float value is 1.5. But if you see here, the output is everything coming in single line. Now here if you observe, percentage C I have written Y because C is character, percentage F Y because B is a float value. Now if you want to get an output in a different line, then you need to use one more format specifier, that is /n. Now what is the use of this /n is to get, after displaying this one, after displaying this line, you will be redirected to the next line. Okay, let us run this program and check this output. Okay, now if you check here, number is 10. Why we are getting number is 10? Because we have not put the /n there. If you put /n also here, then you will be getting /n like this. Then if you compile and if you check the output, you will get number is 10. Everything in a separate line. I hope this program is clear to you all. Okay. So this is a simple example where how can we use percentage D, percentage C and percentage F can be used, I have shown. Now in the formatted output we can add some other percentage conversion characters also, like we can add minus symbol to adjust the spaces of the data, like it is always left aligned. If you want to make it right aligned, you can use minus symbol, and a digit can also be mentioned to specify the width, like how many characters you want to display, like that. And then we can have a period symbol specifying the width of the next digit, and then we can have a digit followed by the period which specifies the precision of the decimal number, and then we can have a letter L specifying the long int. I already told you LD, if you mention, you will be saying like it is long int. So like that, these things can also be included into your formatted output. Now formatted input, if you consider, we will be using scanf statement, and the syntax is similar to your printf statement, but the simple difference here you need to understand is the formatted input is of a specification string only here. And here also we need to mention the percentage D, percentage F, percentage C only to mention the data type, what type of data you want to store into that variable, and same format specification can be used for scanf also. But what is the difference here is, whenever you are mentioning the variable name, you need to mention the ampersand symbol in case of scanf. Why? Because we are mentioning the address of that variable. So in detail about the address and all you will be learning while learning the pointers concept, but here you need to make a note of this one is we need to use ampersand symbol to make the variable displayed, right? So you can read two variable names simply by taking, so whatever value you give first, that will be copied into name, and second value will be copied into the roll number. Got it all of you? So let us see a simple example to understand this concept. Okay, so let us see the example. Here I have taken a variable called A, and let us not store any value into this variable, and I will be reading the value input we are reading, and we are producing that output. You know what is this printf statement is. Let us compile this program, run this program, and here the cursor is waiting. So we need to give some value. Let us give a value of 50, and whenever you click Alt F5, you will be getting an output as number is 50. Got it? Similarly, you can add new statements like char C, and you can write scanf percentage C, okay, comma ampersand C. So you are reading a character value, number is percentage n you have written, and after slash n you want to produce the output in the next line, you put slash n, and then character is percentage C. So wherever you give percentage C, so percentage D in the first variable will be displayed, and then comma you write C variable. Okay. So if you run this program and if you check, it is asking you to enter some value. So let us give a value of 60 for A, and character it is not reading. Why? Because enter whatever you give, that will be taken as a character symbol, right? So to understand this one, let me read the character first, and then this one next. Okay. So let us run this program. So let us compile and then run this program. If you check the output, you need to give the value. First value should be character value because reading the value. So I have given G, and then give space and give another value which is integer value. So G70 we have given. We need to get an output like number is 70 and character is G. So even if you have changed the order also, you can get the value. The order in which you are reading may not be depending upon the value which you are printing. Right? So first character is G, and the second value which is character, and the second value is integer value. Got it all of you? So this is how we can read a character or a integer value into your program, or a float value can also be read by using percentage F. But remember, you need to put an ampersand symbol in front of that variable. Okay, so with this we'll come to an end of our today's class about formatted input and output functions. I hope you all are clear with this concept. We are basically using printf and scanf functions to read our values and to display our values. Right? So let us all meet in our next lecture. Until then, thank you all of you.